most of you, this is probably the first time you're coming to ASMR United, so I want to say thank you for coming. It is 1:30 in the morning on a early Monday morning, and I have a cold, and I've been meaning to update my channel for a while now. And I figured, well, if I'm not going to do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I wanted to take advantage of having this cold voice. So I figured, well, might as well use it while I got it. So enjoy this low, deep voice as I do an intro to my channel. It's been about a month since I started the channel. Just shy of a month, I believe. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Percival, or Percy for short. I named the channel ASMR United because I thought it was incredibly fascinating how we're part of this very unique community that's global and that works, I think, without having a common spoken language. Oh, that over there is the bane of my late night recording existence. I'm using a Blue Yeti right now, right next to my bed. I'm in bed right now. I don't know if you can see. There, my bed, IKEA bed. Oh, let's see. The refrigerator is, I think, the only thing that makes noise late at night. And I'm so tempted to just like go back there and unplug it like every time I do a recording at night. Sorry if I'm talking a little weird or slow. It's just really late. I've got a cold and I'm tired, and I couldn't fall asleep. And I figured, well, might as well just do this and get it over with. So what was I saying? Oh yes, it's an international community. People speak so many different languages when they do all their ASMR videos. I mean, I love watching the Russian videos, Japanese, Spanish, French. I mean, if it's out there, I listen to it. And I think a lot of the, I think a lot of the ASMR artists out there listen to other people from different cultures and languages as well. Because we do have, the common language of tingles, I guess, even though everybody's triggers are so different. I'm on a couple of the communities on Facebook, and it's just very interesting, like, listening, or not listening to, but reading, like, what everybody's tingles are, their first experiences, whatever. And I think I haven't seen or heard of anybody's tingles that work the same kind of way that I do. So I might as well, describe it for you guys. Essentially, I discovered ASMR through, like, I think some techie blog that linked it one day, like a while back this year. And I clicked on a link and I was completely blown away. I mean, all of a sudden I realized it was like I don't know, a bolt of lightning from the sky. And I went, oh my God, this is something that I've experienced my whole life. But at the same time, I never questioned it. I always thought that everybody in the world was like this, For me, it was like the most common and memorable experiences were every single time I went to get a haircut at Gil's Barbershop in the San Fernando Valley. I always went there as a kid. It was like right, like a block away from my house. If you watch the movie Boogie Nights, you'll actually see it in one of the shots. You can see my backyard and everything. But anyways, that's an aside. I always went to get my hair cut there, and you know, they go bzzz, bzzz. Oh, let me try this. Bzzz. That's my imitation of the buzzer. But that would always, you know, do it for me. Like I don't know, it'd be like I'd lose control of my body, and I'd like twitch or something in the chair, and my eyes would be all closed, rolling back, and I thought everybody was like that. I thought it was just like, this is how it feels when you've got something really sharp and scary and vibrating against your skull. This is the feeling that everybody gets, you know. So I never discussed it with other people. But then only now did I realize, well, this feeling, this sensation is, I guess, pretty unique. After I heard about ASMR, I pinged my Facebook page, and it was like crickets. Like, no one responded. No one had any idea. They probably thought it was just like, oh, it's Percy being a weirdo as usual. But so after I discovered ASMR and I realized like I have it and not everybody has it, I went to YouTube and then discovered, like, you know, all you guys out there. And I mean, it was just, after discovering it, it was like, oh my God, I'm hooked. Like every single night, hours and hours and hours, and it was just so relaxing and just amazing, you know. It still is, even today. Like I go all the time, and I'm always discovering new people and discovering that like I get new triggers, you know. At first it started with the haircuts, and then the binaural stuff, and just like going crazy, discovering new triggers, and for me, you know, a lot of people, I guess, use ASMR to go to sleep. I don't. I mean, for me, it's almost like, I don't know, I want to say like a heightened state of awareness. I would get panic attacks like the past, I don't know, 18 months. I'll get into it in another video, but the past 18 months have been incredibly stressful, high anxiety, and I would get panic attacks. And ASMR is kind of like, it's kind of a funny description, but it's really hard to describe ASMR. I don't know, maybe some of you guys can relate, but essentially, ASMR to me is like having a panic attack, except it's like without the panic sensation and without feeling as if you've lost control. You're kind of just like there, present in the moment, and it's calming, you know. Another way of describing it is kind of like having synesthesia, which is, I guess, essentially remapping sensations, where, you know, some people with synesthesia will hear colors, or they will, I don't know, see music. That's synesthesia. For me, I think it's kind of like I will be able to feel sounds. You know, like, say you're in a room, say you're like typing away on the keyboard, and without looking, you can, and without hearing, you can kind of like feel where other people are in the room. Say like someone's like walking around in the background or whatnot. You can sense where they are, what they're doing, how far away they are, without looking. I mean, I'm not always like that, but sometimes I feel like that. And for me, ASMR is very much that way when it comes to audio triggers. Like I can feel the sounds on various parts of my body. I don't know if you know, like the whole Eastern chakra system kind of goes down like the center line of your body. You know, people's got this third eye, and I don't even know how many there are. You know, and people say, oh, you feel it kind of like going down your body. A lot of people describe, the simplest descriptions like, oh, tingles at the top of your head, and like they go down, you know, and then travel through your body. When I get ASMR, it doesn't work that way. I mean, sometimes it works like that, but, you know, I get a lot of times where it'll be like, oh, I just had tingles like right here, and then it'll be like right there, like my toes or my shins. I've had weird ones where it'll be my abs, like they'll like clench up, kind of like almost like, say you have like that butterfly feeling in your stomach, say like right before you're about to give a speech in elementary school or something, and you're like super nervous and your diaphragm is kind of like, right? I've had ASMR, like the trigger feeling would trigger my abs and tighten them to the point that they would like spasm involuntarily. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody describe ASMR trigger reactions like that before. And as for the actual triggers themselves, as I said, like first started with the haircuts and the binaural sounds, you know, proximity sensor triggers, audio triggers. But I was going through old films. I was watching Fantasia, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, because I had an idea of, I don't think I'll actually do it, but I had the idea of doing like a Mickey Sorcerer's Apprentice cosplay, roleplay ASMR video. I think it would look a little silly on me, maybe if I was like younger and could pull off the Mickey Mouse ears. I don't know, what do you guys think? I just realized I kind of have the color scheme, right? Like black, and I don't know if this is like red and black stripes, but maybe if it was like white, big ears, big black ears. Anyway, so I was watching Fantasia, and my absolute favorite sequences in that movie are Night on Bald Mountain, and then going into the very last song of the movie, Ave Maria. And I wrote about this on one of the ASMR Facebook pages, but essentially, oh wow, my mic is pretty sensitive. It's picking up wild dogs outside or something. I live like right next to a lake. I think, so Night on Bald Mountain, and then the next song being Ave Maria, it's like this juxtaposition of sacred and profane, and the whole visual styles are just like so different. Like you've got Night on Bald Mountain, where you have like all these like a high contrast, bright and dark colors, and you have a lot of circular looping motion to the animation, and they're like demons and witches and succubi like flying through the air like this, and then at the end of Night on Bald Mountain, you hear ding, and the mountain itself, which is like a ginormous winged gargoyle, the bell goes ding, and each ding, like the gargoyle will like recoil a little bit from the sound, ding, ding, ding. And then at the end of that, all the spirits, all the demons go back to sleep or back to the darkness where they're from. And the camera slowly pans down, and then you're greeted by very muted, low contrast scene, a procession of pilgrims holding candles, and they're walking very slowly this way as the music for Ave Maria begins. And the camera, instead of going into these dynamic circular motions that are very full of energy, this one is very deliberate, very slow pan, going from left to right, following the parishioners as they walk through a muted forest scene, almost like watercolors, you know, like Impressionist, Monet type. And they walk into a forest, and then the forest is very thick and dense and dark. And there's just like, in the very middle, it's just darkness. Okay? And then the camera starts moving forward through the darkness as the solo for Ave Maria begins. And you'll see the trees on the side like this. They're on both sides, and they're very out of focus, right? You've got this very extremely narrow path. You don't see the candles anymore. It's just darkness and shadow. And then as it moves forward, the trees slowly part, and in the very middle, there's a light, the light of dawn shining through. And as the camera clears the trees, which have parted, you see the light of dawn as the music begins to climax, and you see in the distance rolling hills and dawn. It's pre-dawn, the light's slowly creeping up, and the camera dollies up very, very slowly as the song climaxes and finishes, and dawn finally arrives. And this whole entire sequence, from the ending of Night to Bald Mountain to the end of Ave Maria and the end of Fantasia, I just watched this, I don't know, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I was getting like an ASMR trigger cascade, like non-stop. And after it was over, when I was actually writing the description of this on the Facebook page, the ASMR community, I was still receiving a trigger cascade, and it wasn't the music, it wasn't frisson, it was just the camera style and the themes and the ideas, and you know, the contrast and lighting that just kind of, I don't know, like blew my mind, to the point that I was just like on this like trigger cascade high. So that I guess that'll work as an example of, you know, how I experience ASMR. What else will I talk about? This channel, the purpose of this channel, I guess, is to share my experience of ASMR and what works for me, and basically like my returning the favor to all those other great ASMR artists out there who, you know, don't just make it just to make it and be popular. They do it because they also enjoy and have like ASMR experiences. Personally, like, so English is my primary language, but I have studied and I do speak other languages as well. not that I'm fluent in them, but I think to the point where I can understand a lot of the artists out there, the Japanese ones and the Spanish ones in particular. And so what I intend to do is to release not just English language ASMR videos, but also foreign language ones. If there's a demand, I don't know. I actually, when I went to college, I studied a little bit of Russian, but not in any level that would be, you know, fluent. And I can't really understand it. It was just like a whim thing I did, and I took like a quarter of it. And it was like super intensive, and I was kind of confused at the time because right before I was taking it, I took something like, I don't know, like 24 semester units in French and Spanish at the same time. So it was just like a 6-month period where like I would be having dreams in all these different foreign languages that I would then translate to a different foreign language and then comprehend it. And like nowhere in that sequence was English involved, but it was just so confusing. And one thing that I don't see a lot of is like, you know, a lot of people say they're triggered by music, right? But a lot of ASMR artists out there don't create music, you know? I used to play the piano when I was younger, and I'm horrible at it, but I think I might try to mess around with like a sequencer or something and see if I could create some ASMR type sounds that are almost like a song or something, and then maybe sing. Even before all this whole ASMR thing, before I discovered it, I'd always wanted to do some sort of like, you know, singing type channel. Years ago, actually, my very first YouTube video, which I don't think I even have online anymore, was me doing a cover of a song, which I will not say. But I'd, you know, like to try my hand at, you know, doing singing type ASMR videos. Not anything poppy or anything like that, but I'm thinking like along the lines of like lullabies. And maybe doing role-playing lullabies, like tucking people to sleep and whatnot. The reason why I'm like in bed right now is I wanted to show you guys like how I experience ASMR. So I'm actually, none of my videos before in the past have I done with a webcam, but I'm using the webcam on my Microsoft Surface Pro, which is one of the main ways of how I watch them. And I watch them in bed, in this bed here, with these Beat Studio Pros. And the only thing different is I'm using my Blue Yeti mic, which I'm using because the mic on the Surface Pro is actually really bad. There's some kind of weird interference, and it's like a lot of popping static. And it was just not usable. So I'll probably do, you know, a couple sleeping type videos. I really like those. I mean, whispering videos, I haven't done any whispering videos, but I plan on doing some in the future. Right now, I don't have any because I want to do videos that are honest and genuine, and so I want ones that, if they don't necessarily trigger me, will relax me. If you look at the comments I have from my previous videos, like the ones I've created actually do trigger me, which is kind of shocking, but I mean, I intentionally made them in a way that would work for me, because if it does work for me, then I know I'm doing it right, at least for the people who have the same triggers that I do. You know, if I made a video that was like, say, I don't know, like a whispering makeup video, I don't know if I could do it right, because something like that doesn't trigger me. And I know it triggers other people, but from what I've seen and read, is basically like, when it comes to triggers, right, people are very, very specific and particular, and either it's like, oh my god, I love it, this is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, or they'll be like, oh my god, that is so creepy and gross. So I don't want to be creepy and gross, or at least, you know, creepy and gross in an incorrect way. Some people might not like hearing, you know, crackling, chip eating noises or binaural anything, you know, and so for them, I'll apologize. But as for the rest of the people who do love the crunchy, crackling, binaural stuff, they'll watch my videos and they say, hey, that's genuine, you know. For me, the artists that I watch are the ones who are, I think, the most genuine and honest and a little bit vulnerable, you know, because doing something like this is very personal and private, and it's kind of like a window into somebody's soul. And so I think if I'm going to do it justice, I have to do the same. I think there's a lot of, like, you know, big popular ASMR artists out there who have like really high production values and are very artistic and whatnot, and I can appreciate it as art, but at the same time, a lot of those just strike me as like very creepy because they're not real, you know, they're not authentic. I mean, a lot of the times, you know, on a technical level, right, it's like super Tingle City, but at the same time, it's just like, this feels too contrived. And I don't ever want people to look at my videos and go, that's so fake, or, you know, that's not real. And that's not to say like all RP role-playing like videos or super arty videos are fake. If the artist can be genuine and their personality shows through, then I think they can be successful and they won't be creepy, you know. But I think those are few and far between. But I mean, that's just my personal taste, and I think the type of videos that you'll see from me are the type that work for me. So I'll try to be as genuine as possible. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Yeah, this video is getting kind of long. If you guys have any questions or requests, just let me know. I have so many ideas, and I've been sick for a while now. I went for a run this evening because along with ASMR, I've been doing a lot of physical activity, exercise, to improve my health, because, you know, your health is directly linked with your mental status, and your mental status directly affects your physical health. I mean, I know that there's tons of scientific evidence to back that up. And so what I want to do is get my mind in the right place. I mean, ASMR is great at getting people to sleep, right? And a lot of the times I do fall asleep watching ASMR videos. But the one thing ASMR doesn't help with is when you are asleep. I have really bad dreams, like, for God, I don't even remember the last time I slept a night without having a nightmare, honestly. Like, every single night. Sometimes, you know, I do a lot of naps, like I'm a napper. I don't sleep very long, and so I might sleep like 3 hours, have a nightmare, wake up, be up for a couple hours, fall back asleep, wake up a couple hours later from another nightmare. I mean, I think last week I had a day where I had like 3 nightmares like that day, and I got so fed up with just sleep in general, you know. But you know, it's like this vicious cycle. If you don't sleep, then you just get worse, your mental state gets worse, and then you have more nightmares. And I don't have a solution yet. My only goal is to basically get my body to a state that's just as healthy as it can be, so that my mental state is as healthy as it can be. I think my mic picked up my tummy rumbling. It's from the exercise. I mean, I got a cold, but I ran anyways because I don't want to have any excuses. And I also thought that, well, if I completely exhaust my body, this is, I think, day 3 in a row to the gym. If I completely exhaust my body, then I'll be able to sleep okay. But it's like 2 something, and I'm not sleepy at all. My brain is in a fog, kind of, because I've got this cold. I've been like fighting this cold, and it's slowly getting worse. It hasn't kicked in to the point where, you know, like super runny nose and like red eyes or something like that. But my throat is really scratchy, and I've been coughing on and off all day. It's okay right now, but I mean, I'm not really straining my voice too much. Anyways, this video has gone on like super long, so I'll stop it now and upload it tomorrow. I'm not gonna eat. I'm just gonna maybe have some water and take care of this rumbling. I don't think you guys want to hear that anymore. But thanks for coming by, and if you've made it this far, I think what, 31, 32 minutes, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope you participate by, you know, giving me feedback, and in return, I promise that I will be genuine and honest, and hopefully help you, because you as viewers, active viewers, and you know, community members, you do help me on a daily basis, a nightly basis. So thank you, and good night.